been in the industry since 1982. So right out of high school, I kind of fell into it, never really walked away from it. What led me to Piedmont is my husband was actually moved back up into this area, and we have a credit union, and we participate in the co-op. So he came in here into this office and deposited a check and then called me because he was already living up here. I was still living in Florida, and said, "Oh my gosh, Debbie, this place was great. You know, it was beautiful." It's when the branch had just opened. So I went online. They had a branch community development manager position, and I applied for it in February of 2018, and by May of 2018, I was an employee here at Piedmont Advantage Credit Union. Well, I have been all over. You know, I was a proof operator. I've been in the department-wise, I've been a little bit of everything because, you know, I span about 45 years in this industry. So I was able to be a proof operator. I have been a new accounts person. I've been a vault teller, commercial teller, drive-through teller. I've been a member experience advisor. I have been a lot an assistant branch manager. I've been an admin, executive admin person, secretary back when they had those. So when I went into the branch management role, it just allowed me, the background that I had being one that was being managed, to becoming one that managed even the manager's piece of it. I think working my way up in the industry helped me be more perceptive and aware of what my people are going through. So it's been a lovely journey. I like looking at the credit, you know, because I was a lender for a while as well. I don't think I underwrote. I've done, you know, all of that piece of it. But I like when they come in and the credit is not so good. I like being able to look at it with the member and being able to correct it, to teach them how to correct it. Now it's a journey. It takes a while. It's, you know, 6 months to a year to correct your credit. But once it gets fixed and corrected, I love to see the members get so excited because when I first got them, they didn't think that we could do that. You know, I've seen people that have had credit below 500, and we have made that journey together, and now they're in the 700, 800 range where they're able to buy a car at a lower rate. They're able to finance a house now, and that piece has just always been very exciting to me, to be able to see them grow in that, the members. Every story is different. I think the biggest thing that you have to do as a financial counselor is listen to the story. You have to let them tell their story, how they want to tell it, when they want to tell it, and then that's how you go in there and you can tailor what we do or what I do as a financial counselor. That's how you tailor it to each individual. So I think you have to hear the story. On the financial counselor piece of it, I struggle when I can't help. You know, when the only option is telling them that there's nothing I can do, then that the money that they make is not going to cover the debt no matter what we do. It's just not going to, it's not going to help. And we have had some people that I've had to say that to. Now we do give them a little bit of advice and say, you know, you got to pay what you can, but some of them go by the wayside, and the bill, I'm talking about the bill piece of it. And it's difficult. It's difficult to say, you know, I just can't help. There's nothing else that we can do at this point. So we teach them some budgeting tricks that might be able to help stretch what they do have. The environment that we live in right now, it's hard if people are out of work, or if they're in a situation where, you know, you have one spouse working and the other is not, and you have, you know, children to feed and rent to pay. Sometimes the money just doesn't stretch like it should. And that's difficult. I always take it, you know, very personal. My journey in the financial world, I've been in with credit union, and then I was with commercial banks for a while, and then back to the credit union. So my favorite role was being in the credit union. And it's just because the mindset, credit union is like a movement versus being at a bank and answering to the shareholders. But I had a couple come in. They were very young. They just gotten married. Poor credit. They had poor credit. And I worked with them for about a year and a half, and they were able to purchase their first home together. And it was very exciting because I got to be in that journey with them. And that was probably one of the highlights of being a financial counselor is taking them through that journey, and the highs and the lows, and then she got pregnant, and the house was big enough for them to have a nursery. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. When they closed on their house, they came in, they gave me a little plan. It was very sweet. It was very sweet. It was lovely to witness, to see how that journey went, and then to go, because that was their ultimate goal, was to buy a home. I'm a big believer in a savings account. I know that it's old school, but I think you should have 6 to 12 months of bills saved up in your savings account for just in case. It's difficult to get started, but once you see your savings account grow, it's real easy to pay yourself X amount of money. I always recommend at least 10% of whatever you make should go into a savings account. But I don't think that we're teaching our young people how to do that, how to budget, how to save. And I think that's super important. But that's the biggest advice I would have for anyone, whether they're younger, whether they're older, whether they're in the in midlife, is that you have to pay yourself first. The cushion is nice to have. It takes away the anxious feeling, the anxiety, because you have a little bit of a cushion. God forbid something should happen, your car break down, whatever life throws at you, you've got a little bit of a cushion in your savings account. So I think growing your savings account is probably the best advice I could give anyone. I think it's a good idea to stay abreast of the economical landscape that we live in. I think that it's hard nowadays to find something that's middle of the road. In the world that we live in right now, but there are resources out there. Your local library, you can come to a credit union, and be able to just need to keep abreast of what's going on in our market, in our world here. I think it's a good idea. That way, your budget falls in line with what's going on in the outside world. So that's probably the best advice I could give someone, is just to keep abreast of what's going on in our economical world. My husband and I ride motorcycles. We purchased them a long time ago, so it's a lot of fun. I don't ride as much as I'd like. My husband grew up on a bike, so he's a very adept at driving on a motorcycle. He tempers everything down to accommodate me a little bit, and it's lovely. But I love it. It's just you and the bike and the wind, and it's an amazing thing riding a bike. It's just very centering for us. So I love it.